Hey guys, welcome to the think tank. Good to see you. Happy Thursday, I guess. Holy smokes. Hello, Ruthie, Dandy, Shauna. Good to see you guys. It's bright and early. So I've been going through some of these documents. I'm not in my PJs, guys. I'm not in my PJs. It's a dress. Hello, Jackie. Good to see you. So I want to go through the documents, the original bail application. I find it really interesting. There's a lot of information in here, and I thought maybe we would go through it with all the stuff that's going on right now with this new search. They give us an idea in this document as to basically what's been going on. Let me see if I can make myself smaller. There you go. So, yeah, this is the original document back from, I do believe we're looking at July of 2023. And this is in regards to the first 4 victims. Well, 3 actually at this point, because they hadn't finished with the DNA yet when it came to, I think it was Maureen Brainerd Barnes. So let's see here. We have got the people of the state of New York versus Rex Heuermann. Now, this guy to me is a total freaking monster. There's a lot of question as to whether or not some of these crimes are being, hey, Tracy, whether or not they are discovering some of these crimes with their last Manorville search. They were out in that area about 3 weeks ago digging up, and they had found 2, I guess we're going to say, partial remains that were found in, they called one Fire Island Jane Doe, and the other one was, there was 2 of them. I'm sorry. The names aren't coming to me right now. It's bright and early. Let's see if I can. We'll find out through these documents. I don't want to say the wrong names, but I was just looking at something. Let's take a look at this for a second. We're just going to look at pieces of this. I was watching it on 175, but all righty, come on.
Is that a continuing investigation? Are they attempting to connect that to this accused killer?
Okay, now we've got James Burke out there as well, right?
But that's just step 1. Those of you who watch the show, watch the network, you understand this process. They always say the wheels of justice turn slowly. Well, for 13 years, they were going really slow trying to solve the case. Things will pick up a little bit in this process, but not necessarily a lot. It's a complicated case. There are multiple victims. The defense looks like they are contesting it at this point, and they usually do at this point. If you get to trial, it could be, a year, could be 2, could be 3, could be 4, could be 5 years down the road. You just don't know. You just don't know. But a case like this, my gut is telling me, is not going to get to trial quickly. Now, let's talk about the victims. You've got the 4. He's been connected, charged with 3, implicated in another. But there are the other victims as well. Is that a continuing investigation? Are they attempting to connect that to this accused killer? Are they trying to exclude him? Are they looking at other unsolved cases in the area around the country? Are there more charges coming forward against this defendant? We don't know. We don't know.
See, that's the thing, is we don't know. I'm going to jump us over to Google Earth because I tell you what, those names are bothering me. Valerie Mack and Jessica Taylor. Parts of them were found in Manorville area. Now, there is another guy out there that they are trying to say could have done this. And you know what? I think there's more than one person that has been doing this. I really do. So this is the new searches. We're right in here, where allegedly there has either been some kind of book with photos or a trinket box. It's being said that they found something in this area. So we've got Valerie Mack, and she was found November 19th, 2000. Partial remains of torso, skull, hands, and right foot were found at Gilgo Beach. So I don't know. I think we can basically, I don't know if it's the same dude that has done the 4 that have already been, he's already been charged for. But I think there's a good possibility. And I also think there's a good possibility that somebody else was involved with some of these. So she was found on July 26, 2003. Again, partial remains of torso. Tattoo was mutilated. Skull, hands, and right forearm were found on Gilgo Beach. So now, really, realistically, it is not that far. We have got Massapequa is right in here. We've got the reserve, and we've got Rex's house. And then a bit of a waterway, and we are over to Gilgo Beach, which is right here. So we've got Fire Island, Jane Doe, and she was found near Hempstead Lake and is the mother of baby Doe. So she's been going under Peaches. We also have Fire Island, Jane Doe, found April 11th, 2011. Skull identified, female DNA linked to legs that washed ashore on Fire Island. Lordy, lordy. So then we've got Maureen Brainerd Barnes, and he was charged with this one just a little bit later. Megan Waterman. Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Amber Costello. We've also got an Asian Jane Doe, and he was found April 4th, 2011, found wearing women's clothing somewhere between the age of 17 to 23, also scattered along Gilgo Beach here. Jessica Taylor, skull and hands, right forearm, were found in Manorville. Ocean Parkway. So this is how we get on to Gilgo Beach and bring us here. There's one entrance on the far side, and there's also another entrance on the other far side. So over here, we have got Baby Doe. Overlook Beach, sorry. There's Overlook Beach, another place for, well, this place is heavily visited during the summer. It's got a beautiful beach, and a lot of people seem to go to this area during the summer. Winter, there's nothing. There is nothing. Valerie Mack was found with Baby Doe but we don't believe that she has anything to do with Baby Doe. So that basically links them, Baby Doe, way over to the other side where Peaches is. And Peaches is right in here. And of course, her identifier was the cherries. Now, they may have... So Massapequa Park, to me, this place, I have no idea why it has not been searched. It's just a couple of blocks, 2 or 3 blocks from where Rex was raised and lived his entire life. And we've got Massapequa Park there that is a massive reserve that is not preserved, that has not been checked out as far as we know. And I know as a kid, I scoured everything in my area when it came to this type of thing. So I have no doubt that Rex did as well. So here we've got an entrance that gets you on to the far end where Peter Hackett lives. Now, Peter Hackett, also known as Dr. D-Fib, I think there's a good possibility that he knows more than he's going to say. Peter Hackett, Dr. D-Fib. Now, he might have something to do with Shannon Gilbert, because this is the person that says, well, Shannon's mom said for a long time that Dr. D-Fib called her and said that Shannon had been at his house, as he had a home for wayward girls. And of course, he ended up denying this and saying he had nothing to do with any of this, that he didn't make these calls. Well, he did. He did. Okay, so the document. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds. No. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Officer Pickle. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, Dr. D-Fib, my favorite quack. Something else, you guys, just something else. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So defendant Rex Heuermann stands before this court, charged by the grand jury with M in the first degree in violation of New York State penal law. A first felony for the passing of Melissa Bartholomew. So we'll also get Megan Waterman. We've also got Amber Costello, Melissa Bartholomew, and then we've got some second degrees up here. Like I said, Melissa, Megan, back to Amber. As described below, based on serious, heinous nature of these serial M's, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that this defendant was able to avoid apprehension, his recent searches for sadistic materials, child P, images of victims and their relatives, counter surveillance conducted online as to a criminal investigation, his use of fictitious names, burner emails, cell phone accounts, and his access to history of possessing firearms. The only means to ensure defendant Rex Heuermann's return to court is to remand him without bail. So, discovery of the victims. How you guys all doing here? Yeah, Dr. D-Fib, our favorite quack. Oh, hey, Emma. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. What do you mean by the families? Not yes, 300 weapons, hair from his home that was found on the tape that was wrapped around these girls. Some of it is sounding like was Ace's hair. Okay. So on December 11th, 2010, police officer John Malia was conducting a training exercise with his canine partner, Blue. I also heard he stopped to go for a pee. So he started walking along Ocean Parkway in the Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to be those of Melissa Bartholomew. 2 days later, on December 13th, 2010, SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa Bartholomew were recovered. On that date, members of SCPD found 3 additional sets of human remains within 1/4 mile of the first discovery. These 3 additional sets of remains were identified as those of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The cause of death of all 4 women is determined to be homicidal violence. So again, this is where the 4 of them were found. And as they continued, they found 6 more sets all along this stretch here of Gilgo Beach. Or Park Island Highway, Island Parkway. So the investigation to these deaths was linked as, in addition to the other factors, the victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to each other, 22 to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working as workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions, all deleted by homicide. So, isn't that interesting? All of them were missing clothing and personal possessions. So this would be what they're busy looking for now, right? So all had been deleted by homicide. All had contact shortly before their disappearances with a person using a burner phone. Cell phones without an associated verified identity. And the cell phones of 2 of the 4 victims, Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew, were used by the deleter after their deaths. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in similar fashion, either by belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in burlap-type material. Bird hunting material, they're saying. So either belt or tape. So the belt that they found wrapped around, I think it was Maureen, did have stamped on there the initials WH. Now, WH is also, Richard Heuermann's grandfather was William Heuermann. So was this his belt being used for these types of things? I think there's a very good possibility. In January 2022, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysts, and prosecutors to work jointly with law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County Police Department, New York State Police, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. On March 14th, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, 2 months, this comprehensive review led to a discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche that was registered to defendant Rex A. Heuermann at the time of these deletings. As described below, this was significant because a witness to the disappearance of Amber Costello identified a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche as the vehicle believed to have been driven by her deleter. The discovery led to a comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, which consists of over 300 subpoenas, search warrants, and other legal process to obtain evidence. As discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for defendant Heuermann corresponding to cell site locations. So they got him. The burner cell phones used to arrange meetings with the 3 of the 4 victims. 2, taunting calls made to relatives of Miss Bartholomew. A call made by detective to Miss Bartholomew's cell phone while looking into her disappearance. And 4, calls checking voicemails on Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone after her disappearance. So he was messing with the cell phones, taunting these families. Calls checking voicemails after her disappearance. In addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from, and he worked in Midtown Manhattan in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Miss Bartholomew. As set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be the person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to their disappearance, and who used Brainerd Barnes' cell phone and Miss Bartholomew's cell phone after their deaths. Both defendant Heuermann and these burner cell phones had significant connections to both Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Wow. There is so much, you guys. There is so much. Okay, so Maureen Brainerd Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a worker. On July 6, 2007, Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner phone. Between July 6th and July 9th, 2007, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone. July 9th, 2007, the last cell site location for Brainerd Barnes' cell phone was approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan near the 59th Street Bridge. Thereafter, the Brainerd Barnes cell phone had no further activity until July 12th, 2007, 3 days after her disappearance. 2 outbound calls were made from Brainerd Barnes' cell phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near Long Island Expressway in Islandia. They've got him. There is so much pointing to this man as Lisk, Gilgo Ford deleter, if you want, because we still don't know how many of the other 6 are going to be continued or considered victims of Rex Heuermann. So Melissa Bartholomew was last seen on July 10th, 2009. At that time, she was believed to be working as a worker. On July 3rd, Miss Bartholomew was contacted by a burner cell phone. Thereafter, the Bartholomew cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on July 6th, July 9th, and July 10th of 2009, which was the last day she was seen alive. July 10th, cell site records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. Later that evening, Barthelemy's cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Massapequa, within the last cell location being in Massapequa on July 11th, 2009 at approximately 1:43 a.m. July 11th, Miss Barthelemy's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site location in Freeport. July 11th and July 12th, 2009, the Barthelemy phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemail from site locations in Babylon. July 17th, July 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, and August 26th, 2009. Barthelemy's phone made taunting phone calls to Barthelemy's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was a male, and a relative of Miss Barthelemy, in which the male caller admitted deleting and SAing Miss Barthelemy. As described below, the cell site locations of Miss Barthelemy's phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. The disappearance in M of Megan Waterman. She was last seen alive at the Holiday Inn in Hauppauge, New York, on June 6, 2010, at approximately 1:30 a.m. At that time, she was believed to be working as a worker. June 5th, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone, which had been being activated that day. Thereafter, the Waterman phone communicated with this burner cell phone on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:31 a.m., which is around the time Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn in Hauppauge. I'm not sure, you guys, doing my best. For the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further phone activity. However, a cell site record shows that Waterman's phone traveled to Massapequa Park, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa Park at approximately 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity of the residence of defendant Heuermann. Okay. We're going to pop over here for a minute, listen to Vinny, and I will be right back with more.
Don't know. And remember, just on that, you're talking about 11 victims on that stretch of beach, 4 of them sort of clustered together, the Gilgo 4. Those are the ones that they've tied him to so far. And they seem to have some strong evidence, DNA evidence as well. Now, the other question, when you're talking about a serial killer case, that's what we're talking about here, is will he talk? Will he talk? Is this someone who will take credit for what happened, much like BTK did, and then bathe in it and have those moments where you can speak and you can brag and just bloat your ego for what you did? Or will he pull a Bundy, go to trial? Bundy, I think, represented himself in one of the trials. But then after he's convicted, then he spoke and tried to, again, blow up the ego and take credit for other murders. So that's still out there. You know, will he talk? And if so, will he at some point admit to these murders, and will he be admitting to any other murders? I mean, there could be cases from 30 years ago, potentially. We'll see. These are all unanswered questions because, as I said, this is just step 1 in the case. Everybody was in court. The DA came out of court today and addressed the public briefly to talk about it. Let's take a look.
We just had our first court conference subsequent to the arraignment in New York State. We have a very extensive discovery statute, which we are endeavoring to comply with the work of both the court and defense counsel. This is a 13-year case, so as you saw, we have a great deal of information, evidence, photographs, reports to provide to the defense counsel. We've begun that process. I think it was 8 gigabytes of material, which is a tremendous amount. And that's just the beginning. We're going to continue to do that on a rolling basis. And, this case, the charges in the indictment are just allegations. So this is the first step in the process of proving those allegations. So we look forward to undertaking that process. We've spoken to the victims. The victims are not going to be making they've elected not to make any statements at this to the media at this time. They want to maintain their privacy. They are obviously interested in the case, but they're not going to be speaking to the media. So
Lordy, lordy. There we are. Let's just do this again. Thank you. Okay, so Jazzy was barking up a storm. And I do what I do. Yeah, the dogs, that's exactly what it is. Lordy, lordy. Hey, it's not a show until I've been muted myself out at least one time, right? It's part of the show. Okay, so Amber Costello was last seen alive on September 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 1112 American Avenue in West Babylon during the late evening hours. At that time, she was believed to be working as an S worker. On September 1st, 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber Costello, Miss Costello's cell phone was contacted by a burner phone. On September 1st, 2010, this burner phone had communications with the Costello phone at approximately 11:33 p.m. and 11:34 p.m. During those communications, the burner cell phone connected to site towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. Thereafter, The burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with Costello's phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. on September 2nd, 2010. According to witnesses, around the time of these communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello phone on September 1st and 2nd, a client showed up at Miss Costello's residence located in West Babylon. After her client entered the home, a ruse was executed on the client, whereby a person pretending to be the outraged boyfriend of Amber Costello and the client left from this residence while Amber Costello retained the money and that the client had bought to pay for her services. Based on interviews, that client was described as a large white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, in his mid-40s with dark bushy hair and big oval style 1970s type glasses. A witness described him to police as appearing like an ogre. And I think that's a great description of this guy. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. According to witnesses, following the ruse, this client said he was just her friend and tell her I'll give her a call and walked out the front door. Thereafter, at approximately 1:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse had been perpetrated, the burner cell phone sent a text message to Costello's phone, which stated, "That was not nice to do. I credit for next time." Phone records show that burner phone was located in Massapequa Park within 2 minutes of this text message being sent. I mean, they have a lot. They have a lot. Just unreal, you guys. So, according to the witness, later the next day on September 2nd, 2010, at approximately 9:32 p.m., the same burner cell phone from previous evening again communicated with Costello's phone. During this communication, the burner cell phone used a cell site location in Midtown Manhattan, traveled to Massapequa Park, and had contacts with Costello's phone at approximately 10:39 p.m., 11:05 p.m. Cell site records for the burner phone indicated that approximately 11:17 p.m., the phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, walked out the front door of the residence, and was seen alive for the last time. Shortly after Miss Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark-colored truck pass the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. Records establish that Heuermann's wife was out of New York for the disappearance of Waterman and Costello. So this might be the time she was in Iceland. Significantly, travel records show that on July 8th, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife departed, the U.S. for Iceland. On August 18th, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife returned to the United States. Consequently, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Barthelomew's disappearance. Based on cellular telephone billing records on June 4th, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland. On June 8th, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to defendant Heuermann's wife returned to New York from Maryland. Consequently, based on cellular telephone records, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York State during the time of Megan Waterman's disappearance. based upon cellular telephone billing records. On August 28, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to New Jersey. On September 5th, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by his wife returned to New York from New Jersey. Consequently, the cellular phone subscribed by the defendant's wife was out of New York State during the time of Costello's disappearance. So, cellular billing records for the cell phone of Rex Heuermann. During the times of the disappearance and M's of the victims, defendant Heuermann owned an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan, and this business was named subscriber of Heuermann's cell phone, which was active during the times of the victim's disappearance, and subscribed to Heuermann's home address at Massapequa Park. Although cell site records for that time period no longer existed, investigators obtained cellular billing records which showed general location information for Heuermann's cell phone. A review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, show numerous incidents where Heuermann was in the same general location as the burner cell phones used to contact victims Barthélemy, Waterman, and Costello, as well as the use of Brainerd Barn and Barthélemy's cell phone when they were used to check voicemails and make taunting phone calls after the women disappeared. Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Heuermann was in a separate location from these cellular phones when such a communication event occurred. For example, July 10th, 2009, the lost dame Melissa Barthélemy was seen alive. Both the burner phone and defendant Heuermann's phone were in the area of Massapequa Park and traveled together towards New York City. So he is taking his regular cell phone with him. He's not turning it off. He's not doing anything. And he's also carrying that burner phone. So they're all walking in tandem. They're all moving in tandem. On July 14th, 2009, at approximately 7:15 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner phone used to contact Miss Barthélemy prior to her disappearance had activity in Manhattan. On the same date, between approximately 6:58 p.m. and 7:22 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone also showed call locations in New York City. Following Barthélemy's disappearance on July 17th, at approximately 12:40 p.m., a male caller used the Barthélemy phone to contact Miss Barthélemy's family. The Barthélemy phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,372 feet or 0.45 miles from Heuermann's then office space, which at the time was located at 19 West 36th Street in New York. On the same date, at approximately 1:45 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's phone also show a call location in New York City. So we have got the victim's phone traveling in tandem to New York City with Rex's phone. What a monster. July 22nd, 2009 at 6:51 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to cellular locations at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from defendant Heuermann's then office space, which at the time was located at 19 West 36th Street, New York. On the same date, at approximately 5:12 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call location in New York City. So again, look at that. Target phone. Look at that. July 23rd, 2009 at approximately 1:39 p.m. Cell site records indicate the burner cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cellular location at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On that same date at approximately 12:48 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in New York, New York. So again, like we're talking feet, just feet. July 23rd, 2009 at approximately 6:42 p.m., a male caller used the Barthélemy phone to contact her family. The Barthélemy phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to cellular tower located at 275 West 39th Street, and again, approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. Like what? On July 23rd, 2019, between approximately 8:29 p.m. and 9:30 p.m., the burner cell phone had activity in New York City. Later on the same date, at approximately 11:05 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located at Jamaica, Queens. Wow. August 5th, 2009, between 6:50 p.m. and 7:11 p.m., a male caller used the Barthélemy phone to contact Miss Barthélemy's family. During said time period, the Barthélemy phone utilized the following cellular phone towers in New York, which are 230 to 2,230 to 3,280 feet from Heuermann's then office space. On the same date, during a similar time frame, between 6:46 p.m., 7:05 p.m., Heuermann's cell phone listed billing locations in New York City. Mexi we looked at it yesterday. She has followed for us all of these different connections. On August 10th, 2009, based upon subpoenaed travel documents, Heuermann departed for Iceland and all phone activity for Barthélemy's phone stopped. On August 18th, 2009, Heuermann returned from Iceland and phone activity for the Barthélemy phone resumed the next day. He's not obvious or anything. On August 19th, 2009, at approximately 7:23 p.m., a male caller used Barthélemy's phone to contact Miss Barthélemy's family. I mean, this guy is so freaking evil. Not only does he do these things, but then he takes his twisted mind and decides to taunt these families and hurt them and incite more pain. And he enjoyed it. Okay, so cell site records indicate that Barthélemy's phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 249 West 36th Street, again, approximately 2,831 feet or 0.53 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On the same date, before and after the call to Barthélemy's family at approximately 7:16 p.m. and 7:28 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone list calls located in New York City. Unreal. Look at that, just feet away from his phone, his office, his lair. On August 26, 2009, Between approximately 11:29 a.m. and 11:34 a.m., a mail caller used the Barthélemy phone to contact Miss Barthélemy's family. According to cell site records, the Barthélemy phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to cellular tower at 4 Penn Plaza. Again, 2,230 feet or 0.42 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On the same date, at approximately 11:38 a.m., billing records for Heuermann's cell phone list a call location in New York City. Again, we're like 2,230 feet. Call duration, 2 minutes and 54 seconds. He thought he was smart. It's just that he's not smart. We're just getting more information now. Okay, we're going to pop over here for a second.
So that's about it.
Let's bring in Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson joining us live tonight outside the courthouse in Suffolk County, Long Island, New York, inside the courtroom today. Matt, great to see you tonight. Tell us about today's hearing.
Well, Vinny, it was just wall-to-wall media. They filled the parking lot here on the sidewalk here in front of the Suffolk County Courthouse. Media was just on top of each other, trying to get the shots of these prosecutors walking inside as the suspected serial killer was back in court for the first time since pleading not guilty to those murder charges last month. And inside, up there on the 4th floor, media waited 4 hours, myself included, to make sure that we got a seat inside. Media lined the first 2 rows there in this smaller courtroom. About 80 folks can sit inside there. We were in the first couple rows, surrounded by 20-something police officers guarding every entrance and waiting for that suspect who's larger than life, 6'4", very large man, towering over everybody else in the room, standing quite close to the judge as he stood there in handcuffs. He didn't have a tie. He had a blue shirt on. He also had cargo khaki pants. He whispered to his attorney at one point in time. But then there was a moment in time when he went to leave, Vinny, and he looked over at the gallery, looked for the media in particular, stopped.
Look at that face, you guys. Like, what? This is not the subdued side of Rex that we have seen in previous videos, I suppose, before he was arrested. Looking like he was a marshmallow. This is not a marshmallow.
Stared at each one of us, and then slowly left the courtroom.
Unbelievable. I mean, we saw some of the photos from him inside the courtroom, and you're not exaggerating in the look in his eyes and the size of this accused killer. So let's talk about the evidence in the case. The prosecutor came out and said this is step 1. What are the indications about the amount of evidence that prosecutors have here? This is not an easy case. It's been a 13-year investigation. Hit a lot of bumps early on, obviously, in all this, but what's your take on that part?
Well, they called it a vast trove of evidence that they ushered over, allowing the defense to take a look at. It is just so many documents, including autopsy reports, and then the newer information that we know connected in particular with this particular case, with this particular suspect. They say all roads point to Rex Heuermann in this case, including the search of his house that lasted for weeks at a time. Remember, they dug up his backyard. We still don't know what they found there, or everything that was discovered in his basement there. We also know that they searched his storage units. We know about that DNA evidence that prosecutors say link him to the victims and hairs that were on the victims, including his wife's hair on duct tape. We know about cell phone records and burner phones, and authorities say that the burner phones were used to taunt some of the victims' families. Here's more now from
So that's exactly what we've just looked at, how he was verbally, just ripping these people apart. The families, he's ripping them apart and he's enjoying every second of it. This is him walking just before he was arrested, picking up that burner phone that they believe was going to be used for another attack.
What they had to say today.
You're talking about 13 years worth of investigation. So it is, I'm not going to speak for defense counsel, but suffice to say, it is a massive amount of material.
They say that this is still a very open investigation. And again, as we know, charges are still pending, Vinny.
So let's look at the other side of the coin now, right? So prosecutors there, they come out and speak. Did the defense have anything to say? Did the defense attorney come out and address the public to give their side of the story? Because there's no gag order right now.
Yeah, no gag order, and he is fired up. He says that his client is innocent. He says, I haven't seen all of this mountain of evidence that the prosecutors say, and I don't necessarily believe their case. I haven't seen my eyes on it. So he is now going through all of these documents that were presented to him today. He also spoke with the media right here in front of the courthouse. I was there. Take a listen.
Today we had our first conference on the case. We conferenced with the judge in the back. The district attorney provided us with apparently 8 terabytes of discovery, which we're obviously going to go through with fine detail over the coming months. I understand there's going to be more discovery forthcoming, and we have a new court date of September 27th. That's the next scheduled court date. And again, it's going to be a conference date, and we'll update the judge on where we're at.
So, yeah, let's see here. This is him. Hard to believe that is the same guy, right? Hard to believe that is the same monster that we're reading about, we're learning about, that more than likely committed all 4 of these. But what about these other 6? Does he have anything to do with these other 6 bodies that are located there? And what about these other crimes that are going on in other places where he has been? South Carolina, Las Vegas. What is going on out there? I do have a document that I downloaded a few months ago, and it's giving me the missing people back from like 1970s, late 1970s, 80s, in which there's a lot of young women that have been found in similar situations that are still unsolved. So are they going to find anything with all of these new searches that will possibly link him to these other unsolved cases? I think there's more out there. There is no way this man started at 40 years old. There is no way. I don't buy it. So, additional burner phones and online account activity linked to defendant Heuermann. As described herein, over the course of the comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, investigators located a number of online accounts and burner cell phones linked to defendant Heuermann, by which were held by him in fictitious names and used for illicit activities. American Express records obtained via subpoena reveal reoccurring Google payments made by defendant Heuermann to Tinder, an online dating and geosocial networking application used to find dates or hookups within the user's immediate vicinity. This Tinder, I tell you what, we've heard a lot of Tinder dates going way sideways. I don't know. I've never looked at the app. Don't plan on it. Records were then obtained from Tinder, which revealed the Tinder profile was set up in the name of Andy. So Heuermann's middle name is Andrew. With links to burner cell phones that give the numbers, subscribed in fictitious names of Andrew Roberts, using an email account, springfieldman9 at AOL.com. The Springfield Man account was established with AOL on January 15th, 2011, in the fictitious name of John Springfield, with an Astoria, Queens zip code, using another burner phone, which records show no named subscriber. Records obtained from Verizon showed that defendant Heuermann's cell phone was used on December 11th, 2022, for a period of over 3 hours to access the fictitious Springfield Man 9 AOL account. Similarly, records obtained from T-Mobile showed the burner cell phone was used on multiple dates, including November 8th, 2022, to access this account. Wow. A review of call records show these additional 2 burner phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 2023 for working girl-related contacts. In addition, the cell site warrants for these burner cell phones reveal, just like the burner cell phones defendant Heuermann used to contact the victims prior to their disappearances, these additional burner phones frequently cell site activity in Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Go figure, the 2 locations that Rex Heuermann was always in. Specifically, the records revealed that both these burner cell phones consistently and had activity on the cellular towers that provided coverage to defendant Heuermann's residence in Massapequa Park and his business in New York City. Legal process served on Google seeking records for accounts associated with the device identifiers of these additional burner cell phones revealed a connection with yet another burner or junk email account, namely, get this one, Thawk, T-Hawk, Thawk 080672 at gmail.com. Hereafter, Thawk email account. So is he born in 72? I think he might have been. Is that his birth date? August 6, 1972? I'm going to write that down. What do you think, guys? Is that his birth date? That's very interesting to me. I'm going to write it down. So we also know John Bittroff, another SK, was also in the Manorville area. So Thwok, T-Hawk, 0806 72. So August 6th, 72. No, here comes Jazzy. She's going to be burning up the... You're okay, ladies, both of y'all. So let's see here. Legal process served on Google seeking records for accounts associated with device identifiers of these additional burner phones. So this was under Thomas Hawk, so T-Hawk. A search warrant revealed that Thwok email account associated with burner cell phone was used to conduct thousands of searches related to workers, sadistic torture-related P and CP including. Now listen to this, guys. These are his Google searches. Buckle up, get a barf bucket, whatever it is you need to do. Rex Heuermann was born, February 12th. Thank you, Dandy. 1964. He's older. So what is the significance of August 6, 72? I bet you there's something awesome. Awesome. Oh, I think you're right. I think he likes being infamous. I think his wife likes it more at this point. Okay, so definitely not his birth date. Okay, at least I know that because that was going to bother me. I would have gone on a hunt. Okay, guys, now this, I'm going to say trigger warning like 1,000 times for this. Trigger warning, because his searches are very freaking disturbing. So we have got, let's see, 30 of them. I'm not going to say the full words, okay? Some of them are disgusting. So 1, Mistress Long Island. 2, Mature Escorts Manhattan. 3, Girl Begging for RP. Jesus. 4, Teen Girl Begging for RP. 5, Pretty Girl with Bruised Face P. 6, I'm not going to even go there. 7, not going there either, guys. 10-year-old schoolgirl. 8, not going to go there. Look at, I can't. Skinny redhead tied up. P. Short fat girl tied up. P. Tied up RP. So this is one I find very interesting. Agent Twink tied up P. So my understanding of twink is like a trans person, because the Asian male that was found on Gilgo Beach or Ocean Parkway was an Asian male trans woman found in women's clothing. I'm not going to say that one, guys. I'm not even going to do that. We've got another disgusting one coming up. Not even going to do that. Girl. Mm, 10-year-old blonde girl. Chubby 10-year-old girl. He's like, I can't even. I can't. So all of this mess here, I'm not even going there. Old janitors. Oh, Lordy. So basically all this stuff is absolutely disgusting, and I'm not going to go there. Okay, the THWOC email account was also used to conduct an excess of 200 searches between March 2022 and June 2023 related to active and known SKs, the specific disappearances of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Barthélemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. He was Googling to get information on these 4 cases. So let's see, the searches or articles accessed include, but are not limited to. Okay, why would law enforcement not trace the calls made by Lisk? 2, why hasn't the Long Island SK been caught? 3, Lisk, Long Island deleter. 4, Long Island SK phone call. 5, Long Island SK update. 6, Long Island SK update 2022. 7, FBI active SKs. 8, SKs by state 2023. Okay, that's interesting. By state, which makes me believe we have other states to be looking in for his activities. That's what it would tell me. Like, these are his actual searches. So 9, map of all known SKs. 10, unsolved SK cases. 11, America's 5 most notorious cold cases. Oh, there we are. Yep, not wanting to be notorious at all. 12, 11 currently active SKs. 13, 8 terrifying active SKs that we can't find. 14, he Googled John Bitroff. 15, Megan Waterman. 16, Melissa Bartholomew. 17, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. 18 is redacted. It's the name of a relative of Melissa Bartholomew's. 19 is also redacted. It's the name of Megan Waterman's. Name of relative of Megan Waterman's. 20, cops launch Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force. So why would just a random person be looking up all this ish? Do tell, do tell. 21, mapping the Long Island M victims. 22, inside the Long Island SK and Gilgo Beach. 23, the Gilgo Beach K, Criminal Minds. 24, the Long Island SK investigation, new phone technology may be key to break-in case. Really? The Thwok email account was also used to search for a number of podcasts, looky, and or documentaries regarding this investigation, as well as repeatedly viewing hundreds of images, specifically the deleted victims and members of their immediate family. Significantly, defendant Heuermann also searched for and viewed articles concerning the very task force that was investigating him. Wow. So we have gone through all of this stuff on previous videos and lives, and there is a pretty good list and Rex Heuermann videos in the playlist. And we've been looking at this for a while. So if you're not caught up, that's probably a good place to start because there is a lot of information out there. A search warrant conducted on the fictitious Springfield 9 AOL account further revealed selfie photographs that appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Heuermann. So look at this, and sent to other people to solicit and arrange for S activity, further linking Heuermann to the fictitious email and burner accounts used to establish. So this is what he was sending people. Looking a lot different than he does in the other ones when he's been picked up. That's right. These are just the searches we know of. Imagine the ones we don't. Yeah, I think that this is part of the reason she is getting a divorce. I don't think she's divorcing him because she wants out. I think she's divorcing him so she can keep some property and some money. Right. It is disgusting, and I wasn't going to go over it all because, yeah, he's absolutely depraved and sick. So, I mean, looking at him and this picture, do you know what? I think it very well could be Perry. I think we're going to find out that there is a lot that we don't know as far as activity in different states. You know, just getting some of the information I have on, let's see here, I'll just show you. This bunch here, and there's quite a bit, is all basically unsolved. There we are. Unsolved from Vegas. And we've got pages. So I believe that there's definitely things happening in other states. And good to see you, Perry. Good to see you. Yeah, hard to believe that's the same guy as the one that is picked up. Defendant Rex A. Heuermann was further linked to burner cell phones because on May 19th, 2023, defendant Heuermann was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan that purchased additional minutes, which were added to this burner phone. So they have him getting minutes for the burner phone that's been contacting people. He's a scary, scary POS, guys. There he is, loading up. Analysis of the Springfield Man 9 account also led to the discovery of another email account, Hunter 1903A3 at Gmail. So hereafter, Hunter 1903A3, used on February 14th, 2021, to send an image of a worker from upstate New York between two of Heuermann's secret email accounts. Further investigation revealed that Hunter 1903 Google account was created February 14th, 2021, using burner cell phone, blah, 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 as user's phone number and SMS recovery number, and subscribed in a fictitious name, Andy Roberts. The same fake name linked to the Target Tinder profile and other burner cell phone number, as well as the same alias used by defendant Heuermann in communication with numerous potential partners responding to his advertisement for activities. And the fictitious birthday of August 6, 19... Okay, there we go. Fictitious birthday. Let me see here. Yeah, okay, there we go. Fictitious birthday. So Google provided an IP address information for the user's acceptance of terms of services, which reveal terms of service were accepted on January 14th, 2021 from IP address. Significantly, records obtained from Altice, doing business as Optimum, which is an internet service provider, so indicating that IP address at defendant Heuermann's home address. Oh la la, there it is, guys. You know, they have a lot. So, moreover, based on SCPD's record for the official website on gilgonews.com, a website maintained by SCPD to disperse news pertaining to this investigation. Defendant Heuermann's home IP address was used on May 23, 2020 and July 3, 2020 to access official news concerning this investigation. Records obtained from JetBlue also show the same IP address was also utilized to book flights for defendant Heuermann's wife in 2018. When analyzing the usage of all devices for the accounts used by the defendant, there appears to be a clear pattern where Heuermann used burner phones and burner junk email addresses to contact workers and as partners to conduct extensive searches related to workers, violent, just all this stuff that we didn't look at here. All that crap. So 3, seek online information about authorities investigating these crimes. The burner cell phones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal Heuermann's true identity, conceal his criminal activities unlawfully, proposition S workers, and attempt to monitor the investigation of his crimes. So DNA analysis of hairs recovered from the examination of the victims' bodies. During the course of this investigation, each of the 4 victims' bodies were examined by a forensic scientist within the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory, which reveals the follows. Maureen Brainerd Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which utilized to tie Barnes' feet, ankles, and legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts by Suffolk County Crime Lab. Here and after, female hair on Barnes. On or about December 18th, 2010, the Suffolk County Laboratory. This hair was also determined that it corresponded to a Caucasian head hair fragment, okay, let's start over. Although this hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at the time, it was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. So that is the one that it took them a little bit longer to get the charges. Because there was no nuclear DNA, it made it a lot harder for them to match that up to a person. But I do believe it finally happened. So Megan Waterman had been bound by clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Waterman's body, 2 female hairs were recovered, one from outside the head area and the other from the tape of the head area. Both hairs were recovered in the vicinity of Miss Waterman's head. Examination by Suffolk County Laboratory indicated that the 2 female hairs on Waterman exhibited Caucasian European characteristics, but were unable for further DNA testing at the time. The 2 hairs found on Waterman were subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. Amber Costello, an examination of her remains revealed that she appeared to have been bound by 3 pieces of clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Costello's body, a female hair was recovered, specifically on a tape outside the burlap wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head. Herein, female hair on Costello. So what do you guys think? I'm curious. What do you guys think about this female hair that's being found on all of these bodies? That they're saying that, come back to Asa. What do you think about that? Do you think that being that DNA from Asa is on most of these remains or bindings, is that putting her there, or is this just because he possibly did this at their home when she was not around? What do you think about that? Because I am not quite sure what I think of it yet. So they are saying that it was a Caucasian woman's hair that specifically on a piece of duct tape inside the burlap wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head. A subsequent examination of the female hair on Costello led to the determination it had the Caucasian and European characteristics. However, it was unsuitable for DNA testing at that time. The female hair on Costello was subsequently admitted for further DNA analysis. Okay, so this is the results. Let me know what you guys think about this. Forensic laboratory number 1, as noted above, the female hair on Barnes, 2 female hairs on Waterman, and female hair on Costello. Collectively, the female hairs recovered on the 3 victims were all sent to outside laboratories. Herein, forensic laboratory number 1. So they applied DNA techniques and direct genome, is that how you say it? Sequencing and difficult to solve forensic casework and the identification of human remains. In or about July 2022, the forensic laboratory number 1 was able to determine that each of the additional female hairs recovered on 3 victims belonged to a female individual in mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, that this female was not any of the victims. On or about July 21, 2022, an undercover SCPD detective recovered 11 bottles from a trash receptacle that had been left outside for collection in front of residence of defendant Rex Heuermann. The Suffolk County Crime Laboratory took swabs of said bottles, which were subsequently sent to Forensic Laboratory Number 1 for DNA profiling. What are you thinking, Mexie? You still out there? I'd love your opinion. Oh, well, you know what? That would not even surprise me, Perry. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. The profile was then compared against the previous tested female hair samples recovered on the remains of Miss Megan Waterman, which indicated the two belonged to the same individual or someone closely related. Based on the investigation evidence recovered to date, that female is believed to be the wife of defendant Heuermann. Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about March 23, 2023, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory requested Forensic Laboratory Number 2, a lab specializing in forensic mitochondrial analysis, to conduct additional independent analysis on or about June 12, 2023. Forensic Laboratory Number 2 issued a report concluding that DNA sample from the female recovered from the bottles outside the residence of defendant Heuermann's, i.e. Heuermann's wife, and the female hair on Costello indicate that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same and all compared positions common to which between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, excludes 99.98% of the North American population from the female hair on Costello. So why are they finding so much of Heuermann's wife's DNA? So Forensic Laboratory Number 2 then compared the profile associated with DNA sample from Heuermann's wife to one of the two aforementioned female hairs recovered on the remains of Miss Waterman, which also resulted in the conclusion that the mitochondrial DNA profile are the same at all compared positions common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per EMPOP database, exclude 99.69% of the North American population from the hair recovered on Miss Waterman. Based on foregoing, while 99.98% of North American population can be excluded from the female hair on Costello, 99.69% of the North American population are excluded from the hair on Waterman. It is significant that RH's wife cannot be excluded from either of the female hairs recovered on the remains of Megan Waterman and Amber Costello. As previously noted, defendants Heuermann's wife was out of state at the time of Miss Waterman and Miss Costello's disappearance and unalivings. As such, it's likely that the burlap tape, vehicles, or other instrumentalities utilized in furtherance of these deleting came from defendant Heuermann's residence, where the wife also resides, or was transferred from his clothing. So, okay, she wasn't there for two of them. That tells us a lot, right? So we've noticed in other things we have done that there's a lot that puts her there for many of the, how can I put this? There's a lot of reasons other than the DNA that possibly puts Asa at the scene of other passings, or like they say, just in their home, that messy, messy home. And if that's the case, okay, because I find it really sus. Personally, just personally. So the male linked to defendant Heuermann during the initial examination, Miss Waterman's skeletal remains and the burlap materials, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory was also able to recover a male hair from the bottom burlap used to wrap Miss Waterman by her deleter. So what I am thinking about is that one witness that put Asa in the house when a party was going on at that house. This is what she's saying, that there was a party at Heuermann's house and that Asa was there, as Heuermann did all sorts of bizarre things with people. An initial examination of said hair revealed Caucasian European characteristics. However, the hair was unsuitable for further DNA at the time. The hair was subsequently submitted for DNA analysis on or about July 31st, 2020, and was able to generate a DNA profile for the hair recovered on the bottom of Waterman's burlap. Specifically, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 determined that this hair belonged to a male in mitochondrial haplogroup V7A. Following the discovery of the Chevrolet Avalanche, which was registered to defendant Heuermann, and the investigation of cellular billing records and other items on or about January 26, 2023, a surveillance team observed and recovered, this is the pizza box that was thrown away by Rex Heuermann into a garbage can located in front of his office. And there it is. We got Pizzagate. This little box of pizza busted things wide open. Look at that. Look at all that DNA laying around there. The pizza box was sent to Suffolk County Laboratory for analysis, where a swab was taken from the leftover pizza crust. Crusty pizza. On or about March 23rd, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory sent the swab from the pizza crust abandoned by defendant Heuermann to Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about April 28th, 2023, a detective hand-delivered from Forensic Laboratory Number 1 a portion of male hair on Waterman to Forensic Laboratory Number 2 for testing. On or about June 12, 2023, Forensic Laboratory Number 2 was able to determine that the male hair on Waterman and the swab from the pizza crust, that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same. Boom. Got him. Specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP base, exclude 99.96 of the North American population from the male hair on Waterman. Based on the foregoing, while 99.96 of North American population can be excluded from the male hair, it is significant that defendant Heuermann cannot be excluded from the male hair recovered at the bottom of the burlap, utilized to restrain and transport Megan Waterman's naked and deleted body. Arrest and search of Heuermann, his residence, and other locations. On or about the evening of July 13th, 2023, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was arrested by Suffolk County police officers. Searches of his residence as well as other locations are currently ongoing. At the time of his arrest, defendant Heuermann had on his person the burner cell phone, which was linked to the THOC email account used to conduct online searches. They so got this guy. Like, they've got him. There's no reason for him to talk because they got him. If convicted on the current charges, defendant Rex A. Heuermann faces multiple sentences of life without parole. Alrighty then. So he is remanded without bail. Based on serious, heinous nature of these offenses, the strength of people's case, the life incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extreme measures the defendant took to attempt to avoid apprehension for an extended period, 13 years period of time. The recent sadistic and child peace searches, use of fictitious names, email, cell phone burner accounts, and online counter surveillance, and his access to and history of possessing firearms. They're saying in one of the documents I just read that we thought 200 weapons. They're saying 300 weapons. That is what? Okay, so let's see here. Okay, this is where he lives. No, I think I should have gone the other way, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, we gotta go this way. (101) First Avenue. Where is this bastard? I bet he's back here. There we go. There we go. So, okay. So this looks like it's possibly after the search. So what we're seeing again is all sorts of vehicles up and down this road, back in the driveway. They're digging around back again. I mean, they're coming out with a lot of things again. They're coming out with a ton. I mean, I would have thought they were done. I seen a massive file cabinet coming out. And telephones. So this is what they're doing right now.
In the air.
It's like living in Goodfellas.
State police on the ground.
This is insane, you know? To live through this is terrible.
Reporters stand.
Okay, let's see here. So if I do this, did you guys not get to see it? Just creepy. Oh, there we go. There's Rex sitting in the front yard, relaxing as the Google truck goes by. Are you kidding me? Look at that, guys. Right there. Sitting in his front yard. Oh, la. So this is obviously before his arrest. What year is this? I thought it was after the search. Obviously not. So this is all the work he did on his fancy home. I thought this was after, but they got him sitting in his frickin' yard. How creepy. How creepy. Just unreal, guys. Just unreal. Okay, there we go.
Helicopters in the air.
It's like living in Goodfellas.
State police on the ground.
This is insane, you know? To live through this is terrible.
Reporters standing by. All of these familiar sights on display once again Monday in front of the Massapequa Park home owned by alleged Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann.
Because it's not a neighborhood where there's a lot of stuff going on.
The exact reason for this latest law enforcement search unknown. Heuermann has so far been charged with murdering 4 of the Gilgo Beach victims, each of their bodies found wrapped in burlap in 2010. 7 other victims have yet to be linked to Heuermann, who remains in custody.
I thought it was
His
6.
wife's attorney says she was out of state at the time of this latest search, but his daughter was home and left when officers showed up at the front door.
So, yeah, I found that interesting because I've heard both, that the daughter wasn't home and that the daughter was home. I'm tending to believe she was home because why would she, if she wasn't with her mom and her brother, where was she going to go?
Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder.
They executed their warrant this morning. Whatever their warrant calls for, they're going to go in and retrieve whatever's needed and then turn it back over to the courts.
It's been almost a year since law enforcement descended on this quiet suburban community for the initial search of Heuermann's home.
It's like reliving this whole tragedy all over again.
Monday scene, bringing back painful memories of the case and what the victims' families are going through. Massapequa Park resident Ricky Tavella says he's had enough.
I just wish they...
This is the thing, like all of these people, their places, can you, like, look at all the activity. They got cops, they got film crews, they've got taking over their entire world again. I mean, oh Lordy. Yeah, his daughter worked for him at his architectural firm.
Can put this to rest. Find something, whatever they need to get it out of this house and put this to rest.
And out of your neighborhood, I'm guessing?
And, yes, and just get it out of the whole community here. I mean, it's getting ridiculous now, but searching back and forth. I mean, enough is enough already.
This case is still in its discovery phase, and today's search surely to add to what is already a lengthy evidence list. Heuermann maintains his innocence. He's pled not guilty, and a trial date has yet to be set. We're live in Massapequa Park this evening. Jay Dow, Pix 11 News.
This is the thing. Oh my God, guys. I mean, they got him. He doesn't have to say he's guilty. They got him. So, guys, that's what I have right now. I'm going to be poking around. I'm very interested to see what is going on in this case. So, keep your eyes peeled. Tomorrow, Karen Reed's trial is back on. And back to that ish show. Holy. We got a break. We got a day off from that particular ish show. So time to look at these other messes, right? Well, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that updated everybody a little bit. I hoped it kind of clarified a couple of different things as to what's going on. Again, I think that Manorville search is what led us to this search at Rex Heuermann's home. I think they found something in Manorville. I really believe that. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled and see if there is a connection made. There's also, like Perry was saying earlier, there's also these other cases that are unsolved. And like I said, this is just a couple of them, just a couple. Starting in 1978 in Vegas area. You know, we know he spent time in South Carolina. We know that he bounced around. We know he visited his mother. And there's disappearances and deaths there. I think they're called I-29 deleter. Is that what it's called? I-29. I also did something on that. It is also in the playlist. So yeah, we've been watching this. We've been keeping our eyes peeled on this for a couple of years now, at least since last July. Surprised to see this one happen, but I think pieces are coming together. I think things are starting to come together. So guys, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.